You're watching Training Camp with Adam Marburger, exclusively on CBT News.
Welcome to another episode of Training Camp exclusively on CBT News. I'm your host, Adam Marburger. I'm a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm a black belt in automotive, and this show is designed to help automotive professionals grow personally and professionally, where you will ultimately earn your rank of black belt as well. Today's a beautiful day. I say this every single day. It's a beautiful day to help an automotive dealer enhance their operations. And I'm here with a very, very special guest. Dear friend of mine, Mr. Scott Simons. Thank you so much for coming to Atlanta in studio. Is this your first time here? Have you ever been in? I know you've been on the show. First time in the studio?
First time in the studio. First time visiting. Thank you so much for inviting me down. What an impressive place this is.
Really is.
Who knew? I watched a lot of the CBT interviews and shows. Of course, I always watch you have on, and now I'm sitting here today. So thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, I remember the first time I came here, I walked in here, I was just blown away. The size, I mean, I'm just like, holy cow. And then just sitting here on this side, getting to interview and have conversations with guys like you. When I leave the studio, because it's going to be a long day today, I got 15 interviews.
Wow.
But when I leave here, I'm going to be filled, I'm going to learn something, and most importantly, I'm going to take some action on some of the stuff that I learned. Awesome. So we're going to get right to it, all right? So let's get back to young Scott Simons. Yep. You know, when you were in third grade, fifth grade, did you dream of being a car salesman? Was that your goal?
Probably not that young, but I'll tell you the story, how I got interested in the auto industry. So I'm originally from McDowell County, West Virginia. Excellent people there, Adam. Like salt of the earth people, the people that would give you the shirt off their back. Your handshake meant something. Hard-working, coal mining, southern West Virginia. And my parents, my dad was one of nine. My mom was one of nine. And they grew up very modestly, to say the least. And my dad and mom met when they were really young, married for a very long time. Still married to this day. My dad's 87, my mom's 85. And I learned a lot of life lessons there, but there was one day that sticks out in particular. We had a celebrity that we got the Vogue School to fix. My dad and mom were very conservative. My dad worked 5 jobs. And I remember seeing a gentleman, I don't know if it was at church, because this was quite a while ago, that had on really nice clothes, drove a really nice car. And I said, what does he do? He's a car salesperson. I'd like to have a car like that. I would like to have clothes like that. So I was intrigued about the auto industry. And although it was a great place to learn values, I knew it was also the type of place that I really needed to get out because I was economically depressed. A lot of people there have went down the wrong path. Drugs, alcohol. There's a lot of positive things that came out of there too, but I just felt like and my parents really wanted us to get out of that area. So that's the first time I kind of was intrigued about the auto industry because I saw it as a way out. So yeah, that's how I was first intrigued about the even possibility of getting into the auto industry. And I really, Adam, to be honest with you, I don't know what age that was. Yeah, it was fairly young. So that's what got my interest, was the clothes he had and the car he drove.
I love hearing everyone's story, how they ended up in the auto industry, because when I'm talking to folks like you all the time, the automotive industry gives an average human being extraordinary opportunity.
For sure.
Right? And it's also known for giving people second, third, and sometimes 5 chances, right? Right.
I had a few of those.
So, following you online, I've got to know you pretty well over the years. You're a machine is what you are. You're very impressive. And, you've held every position. You're dealer principal now, but you've done everything. What is your favorite role? Like, looking back your whole career, what was the one role that you just really enjoyed the most?
I would say that it was in finance. It was getting deals approved and telling that customer that they could take that car home. So it was the problem solving, the figuring out, hey, they may owe more than what their car is worth. How am I going to get these people in this new vehicle that was in a sedan? Now they have to get in this sport utility. They have to get in this van. So I thoroughly enjoy building relationships with banks, with the finance companies of the manufacturers that I work for, and I built a special bond. There was one point with American Honda Finance that through my career that I could spot any deal I wanted, and they would back me up on it. Now I couldn't abuse it. Like if it was a low credit score and the people never paid anybody, I had to use common sense. But if I said if it was over weekend and I spotted your deal and I said, let me explain what happened. Business failure, medical bills, went through a nasty divorce. If there was some reason and I interviewed the customer and I went and fought for that customer. And when you do that, it breeds loyalty. And then the team gets excited because they went to this dealer and couldn't get approved, but now we got them done. And so I thoroughly enjoyed that part of it. Did I necessarily like the paperwork? No, I don't think anybody does. Anybody says, "Oh, I love doing paperwork." I don't think that's true. If that's the case, they should be an admin, not in finance. But that was my favorite part of coming up through is getting those deals done. And,
visionaries like ourselves, we hate admin, right? We're not supposed to be doing admin.
Right.
That's the least, that's the last thing that we should be doing. So I love the fact that you touched on F&I, but I want to turn gears here for a minute. So what was your least favorite position? So F&I was your favorite position, which I can relate, brother, because that's what my favorite position is, an F&I guy for life. So what was your least favorite?
Probably F&I, doing the paperwork. I wanted to close it and then, go ahead and go over all the wonderful products that the consumer can pick to protect their investment. And then if it was up to me, I would just hand it off to somebody else. I remember on a Saturday at a Honda store, and it was young in my career. Like some people, I went out a little bit too late, stayed out a little bit too late that night before. And
never done that, Scott.
No, not a car person, right? And I got there that morning and I was kind of dragging butt a little bit. Well, 17 deals later, in this little, what was equivalent of this little Honda store in a closet, I flat out got my butt kicked that day. I mean, I had paperwork everywhere. It taught me a lesson. Don't be staying out too late and be productive the next day. We've all done it. But that was an exciting day. But I mean, just the mounds of paperwork, and I knew at that point I really needed to get more organized. So believe it or not, it's both the same position.
I like that. I can relate to that.
Yeah, I'm more of a floor guy, more of a closer, more of a. I love it when I still get excited whenever I see a customer purchase that vehicle. I mean, it's one of the most exciting things that second largest purchase typically, although now with more people renting, it may be the biggest purchase.
Could be.
Yeah, but I still get excited when people get new or used vehicles. Like I hope that never goes away.
No, I'm going to stay on F&I for a minute if you're cool with that, because I want to pick, it's a perfect opportunity to pick your brain. I've been having conversations with folks about this exact topic of the one-touch system opposed to the traditional F&I office. And I'm kind of conflicted because I think in certain rural markets, a low volume store, a one touch could work brilliantly. I think in a high volume store, maybe that's not the right play. What is your opinion on having that cradle to grave type scenario, one touch? What is just your honest opinion on that? And would you consider doing that in your stores?
I have not. I understand. I think that if that's what it's truly at the end of the day, it's what the dealer wants and it's what's best for the consumer. Some people may say it's old school. I still believe in having specialists because I still believe that whether now it's a deal navigator, you can go in and reconfigure a deal. I still think it takes someone with some talent, that has a skill set that can help put those deals together. So I'm still more of a traditional. Now I have been in more rural markets where I think there's more stories and it's more community based. Whereas in a bigger city, maybe that is the better route to go. Maybe it is better for the consumer. But just for me, I'm not. I have not, and in any of the dealerships that I had, or plan on in the dealerships that I'm going to acquire, plan on doing one touch at this time. Now, obviously, that could change. I still think we need specialists. I still think we need experts. That's what my thought. And I got on a debate with that at ASOTU last year. Glenn Lundy and I were more traditional, and there was two really sharp operators that were one touch, and we did a debate. And at the end of the day, Just be the best at whatever you're going to do.
Yep.
Early manager interactions.
No.
Never meet someone in your office for the first time. I mean, early manager flyby when they come in, just welcoming people there and say, "Hey, my name's Scott. I'm here to help you. I can offer you something to drink." Then when the finance manager or business manager, professional out there in a very efficient manner, taking care of the customer and treat people how you want to be treated. But no, I'm more of a not a one touch at this time.
Do you believe I'd like to know in your stores too, do you like seeing the F&I department out of their office and up working deals with the desk? Do you allow your F&I department to help structure with sales managers and work together on the deal, or is that kind of divided?
The finance manager or business manager, depending on what you refer to them, they should be involved in every single deal at that sales work area as that deal is going down. Like, they never should be getting the deal folder and saying, "Hey, this is what we've got." And then you go there and then you take time to look at bureaus and trying to figure out how they got there. No, they need to be involved. And a good one is involved the whole time.
Amen.
Because they're wanting to make sure that they're structuring it in a way to take care of the customer. They've got to be involved.
I'm glad you said that, Scott, because I believe, I've been saying this for well over a decade now, is your sales manager, there's two statements I'm going to make. The sales manager is the F&I manager's best friend. There's no relationship more important in the store, in my opinion, to an F&I manager. Sales staff, sales department, F&I, but your sales manager is the architect, okay? The F&I department is the finished carpenter.
Oh, yeah.
And so understanding deal structure, working the deal together. And, you said something a second ago, you should never meet a customer for the first time in your office.
No.
I mean, it's sad for me to even think that exists. Does that still exist? Do F&I managers not, do they not get out early? I mean, because I'm not, we don't train our folks that way. I mean, our F&I department, if you're not working on a CIT schedule, if you're not on the phone with the bank rehashing a deal, or you're not delivering a deal, you get out of your office.
Well, that's Adam, what I would suggest to people, and including myself, is we've got to inspect what we expect. Don't assume anything's going the way you think it is, because when you really dig into it, you're going to probably find out that you may have someone on this show that comes in and describes this really elaborate process, but then you go by their store and you say, that's not what they're doing. They describe this elaborate process to the T, but you go to their store and say, I wonder if they realize, because maybe they're in multiple stores, maybe they're not as involved, that that's not what's happening. So you've got to inspect what you expect, and you do that by being involved in the stores and being present. And a lot of times, like I was consulting and then was CEO of a group after I left CMA, and when I first started, I just observed. And at first they're like, "Well, what's this guy really doing?" And then I said, "Hey, please explain your process to me, how this works. And then this is what best practices are, and this is why we should change it." I would go and implement it. Everybody would agree. I would come back and check in that store, and if it had already reverted back to the old way. So I just say, make sure that you are inspecting what you expect, whether you have processes in place or you have technology that could check it, or, just a good park in the back of the dealership, walk through the shop, say hello to everybody.
Yeah.
I know, based on how well I get to know the people, I can look at you and know whether you have something wrong. And I may not address it at first. I may just walk through, give you a knuckle bump or whatever, say, "Hey, Adam, how things going?" And then I may text you, say, "Hey, come on, talk to me for a minute. What's up, man? What's going on?" Yeah. And you're like, "Well, what do you mean? Dude, something's up. What's going on?" You can talk to me about it. You don't have to, but you're just not yourself.
Yeah.
And some people will open up and talk to you about it. But, that's just the best practice that I do, is parking in the back and walking through the front and make sure that you touch every person through that store. But really in that process, just make sure whatever you think is happening in your store is it actually happening. And you're going to be surprised if you don't stay on top of it or have someone that does. There's a lot of best practices not being followed.
It's good stuff right there.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to turn into some personal stuff real quick, if you're okay with that.
Sure, yeah.
So, following you online, for those that do follow you, if you're not following Scott Simons, y'all, follow Scott Simons. If you're a dealer operator, this guy's a machine.
Thank you.
So, but with that, part of why I think people are attracted to you. It's not the success. Like you've done well in business. It's your tenacity. It's your personal development. You're so committed. You're the type of guy that's in these programs. I mean, I'm Arate. You and I,
That's how we met.
talked me into Arate,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
What point in your life, when did it click and you went all in on that stuff? Were you always that way, or did something happen in your life that made you be that way? If you don't mind me getting into that.
I think we're all passionate about something. It's just, is it something positive or negative? We've all done things that we shouldn't have done. I'm not a perfect individual. I'm highly flawed. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to say I'm sorry. If you're around somebody and they never say they're sorry and they never admit they're wrong, stay away from them, because that's just not a good person to be around, and it's going to be hard to change their mind or for them to see a viewpoint from anybody else's. But when I was younger, I got in a lot of trouble because that energy flowed into negative things. That's why I told you where I came from. I knew I had to get out of there, or I'd have been on that street corner. I would have probably been a statistic. I would have probably done things that I shouldn't have done. But I started following people that were more successful which is most important, as a husband, as a father, as a leader, as a friend. And I started having positive influences in my life. My dad, my mom, that's where I got my work ethic from. And I just said, hey, what could happen? When I saw that person driving that vehicle and had nice clothes and nice car, well, I'd like to own a car dealership one day. And, I remember my first interview I ever did when I went to work for Saturn, when I started my career, I told them that. I said, I'd like to own a car dealership one day. They laughed at me. They literally laughed in my face and said, well, does your parents own a car dealership? No. Do your parents have money? No. Well, basically, boy, we're going to see what you could do. I mean, I'm 22, 23 years old, just got my master's degree, and I got laughed at. But see, our family, we got laughed at a lot from where we were from, because we talk a little different. We look a little different. We may not have the nicest clothes. We didn't have the nicest car. I used to ask my dad, park down the road and drop me off. And he looked at me very quickly. He said, I think we paid $300 for Celebrity, and we had the tech school fix it. He looked at me and said, don't you ever be ashamed of who you are. We're just as good as any of these other people. We may not have as nice stuff, but don't you ever forget that. Well, that really sat with me.
Love that.
So I took on the role of the underdog. And when you do that and you get other people to see your vision, and then you fit their dreams and goals within your vision, then that's when you really take off. And I made some mistakes in my career that I'd be glad to talk about. So maybe I would save other people from going through that. But I lived in scarcity growing up. It's a way you can live, but it wasn't a pleasant way. When you see your parents arguing over money, clipping coupons, can we afford this? Can we afford that? And trust me, I had a great childhood. I wouldn't trade it for anything. That's who the man I am today. It's just not a fun way to live when you go to the buffet and that's all you're eating that day. And son, you better clean your plate, and you know that you've got to eat enough to nourish your body for the whole day. To this day, I will not go back to buffets unless it's seafood and unless they have crab legs. But if not, I'm not going. Like you could say, Scott, let's go to Little Grill or something, or whatever, wood fire or wood grill buffet. And buddy, I love you, but I ain't going. Because I still have bad memories of having to eat where that's all you're going to get that day. And it was just because my parents were scared. They were scared they had a scarcity mindset. I got around mentors like Grant Cardone, which I was just on a call with his real estate group last night. Andy Frisella, Ed Millett. There's a bunch of people. And I said, if them, why can't, I don't want to be them, but if I'm going to do something, my dad also taught me this, do it to the best of your ability. If you're going to dig a ditch, dig the best ditch. If you're going to make a hamburger, make the best hamburger. I did blue collar jobs at first. I know real quick, I didn't want to do those jobs. One thing about the auto industry, it's a lot of mental, but if part of it is just getting up early, I mean, I get up 4:30, 5 o'clock. I think my first alarm's at 4:45 every day. And people say, why do you do that? And I've done well with my finances. I've made some smart decisions. And, but that's all that I know. I mean, I was up here to meet you today. I was there at 3 I got up at 3 a.m. to get here on time. Now my flight was delayed, but that's okay. But I just, Adam, if you're blessed with your health, if you're blessed with people that get an opportunity to lead people, it is your duty and your responsibility and your obligation to be the best version of you possible.
Yes.
It's just our obligation, to do that. And I take that role very serious. And if I'm going to lead by example, I need to lead by example,
Yeah.
So that's the reason why that I've seen some success and been very fortunate to meet people like you and have a great network.
Well, you're definitely a power player in the automotive industry. You're a mentor to many. It's really fun doing life with you. This has been a great interview. This has been fantastic. I want you back. Promise you'll come back on the show.
I'll come
Okay.
back. Yes.
So
Yes.
well, there's another episode. So thank you for tuning in to Training Camp exclusively on CBT News. Remember, if nothing changes, nothing changes. We must be willing to take action in our stores. And remember, training's not something that we did. It's something that we do. We must embrace it. Remember this, I'm going to sound off with this note. Fights, they're not won in the ring. They're won in training camp. Let's get to work, y'all.
Thanks for watching Training Camp with Adam Marburger, exclusively on CBT News.